1970, the average home was $15,000. It is now $436,000. It has gone up 29 times. Rent was $108, is now $2,000. That's gone up 20 times. College was $500, it's now $11,000. That's gone up 20 times. Gas was 36 cents, it's now $3.80. That has gone up 10 to 12 times. But what about the income? In 1970, the average person was making $9,000. Today, they're making $56,000. That has only gone up 6 times compared to everything else. But this is where it gets sad. In 1970, the average household had 3.5 children. Today, it's only 1.9. And the crazy part is that back in 1970, the average household, 47% were dual income. It has now jumped to 65% is dual income. So millennials and Gen Zers under the household are putting in more hours than the boomers did. We're both working 40 hours a week, but you got way more bang for your buck and more children. You got to expand your family, own a house. Things are so drastically different. The birth rate is plummeting because people can't afford it. So we need to make a change so that we can turn this around.
Hey guys, this is a little bit of a reaction video. And one of the things that I want to give a shout out because I like the content. FM Smith 319 here on Instagram. And he's put together this video that I think is kind of interesting. And he's got boomers, which I missed by about 2 years, by the way, even though my kids like to say that I'm a boomer, I'm not. Versus the Gen Zs. It's kind of like this guy's lamenting a little bit because he sees the differences. In 1970, if you were going to buy, the average house was $15,000. Today, the average house is $436,000. And then he goes on about the income, the cost of a college education, a gallon of gas. One of the things that I really think is important in pointing this out, when people talk about the average price back then and the average price of a house now, the average is a totally different average. And I deal with folks of all ages, and a lot of times when I'm working with Gen Z people, they have certain features that they're looking for in a home that's not average by any stretch of the imagination for entry-level homes. And what do I mean by that? Things have changed in the market, like say an open concept. An open concept was unheard of back when boomers were buying homes, and in this case in 1970. You had the little boxy houses. Now you can augment those houses and things of that nature and open it up a little bit, but that was a different style of home back then. The idea of folks average now includes a second full bath, which was almost unheard of back in the day. A master suite with the parents having their own bathroom you were pretty well off if you had that. That was not an average thing. So when you're talking about an average home then versus an average home now, those average homes from then to now are actually still kind of affordable. Because as time has gone on, more features were added to homes that help drive up the costs of the homes. A lot of the lamenting about an average home, I think, is a little bit overdone. But if you take a look at buying a home that's comfortable for you in your beginning stages, you'll find homes that are available. Those were built sometimes in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, that still have the square footage for you and your starting out family. Now, I'm gonna say this because I saw this actually happen regarding features of a home. I had a client one time, he was talking about the size of the bedroom for his daughter who was 4 years old. And he thought he was just about abusing her by putting her in a 10 by 10 foot room. When you're 4 years old, a 10 by 10 foot room is enormous. How do I know that? I actually sold the house I grew up in at some point in my career. And I remember when I was a kid, my sisters had a bigger room than I did. And I thought that room was enormous, but I knew my room was plenty big. So as I'm 8, 9 years old, I got plenty of room. So me and my friends, we could go up there and look at baseball cards or whatever. And then I go in there as an adult and I'm thinking to myself, my closet's bigger than this thing today. True, but you're not abusing your child either because little person, little room. And it works fine. When you're looking for houses, look for something that suits your needs for the foreseeable future. I know I've said that in other videos. And in today's market, it is a very difficult market, especially for a lot of first-time home buyers. But that's where I think that you really need to start reining in your expectations. If you start looking for an average home for when your parents bought a house, you will not be disappointed because you'll be able to get something that's clean. Investors have gone in there and they've upgraded the kitchen, the baths, the heating, the air conditioning, the windows. All those things will help take you through the next 7, 8, 9 years of your life, while the kids go from maybe not existing to being babies to being adolescents. So that then when they're adolescents, you may want to consider making a move then, so that you guys can, by then you'll have some nice equity built and you'll be able to make that next move. So anyhow, that's one of my comments about the video is that understanding where the averages really are. And is it an apples and apples comparison? It's generally not. It's the average for that time versus the average for this time. Hey guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell. This way we can stay connected. Here's my contact information should you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.